A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 7th, subject science, chapter number 9, that is soil. This is your lecture number 4th, and in this lecture we are going to summarize this complete lecture, that is soil. Soil forms the upper surface of the earth where life thrives and it is the base of all the agriculture land. Due to the physical and the chemical weathering of rocks, means physical and the chemical weathering here, that is breaking down of the rocks. It comprises of minerals and gravels. There are the several microbes present in the rocks, insect, decaying organic matter, that is humus, nutrients, water and air. As you all of know that the soil is very important natural resources and it forms the topmost layer of the land surface. Next is, there are the different type of soil differing based on the geological composition, that is climate or rainfall. Rainfall, the area that received how much rainfall, and is regularly removed and formed by the some activities, that is natural activities or the human activities. And one more thing, the soil takes the thousand and sometimes it takes the millions of years to form. Okay, and you know that it is formed by the weathering of the rocks, by the action of the winds, water and the climate. So it's composed of minerals and the partially decomposed organic matter. Okay, next topic is the function of soil. There are the several functions here. So the first function of soil is, soil provide encourage to the plants, its hold roots of the plant firmly. Next is, it is source of water and the minerals, nutrient for the plant. Soil is the source of water and minerals that provide nutrients for the plants. Third one is, soil is a home for many organisms like ants, beetle bugs, earthworm, bacteria, fungi, termites. These are the organisms present in the soil. Next is, the bacteria and the fungi decomposes the dead and decaying matter in the soil and help in the recycling of nutrient in the nature. The bacteria and the fungi decompose the dead and decaying matter that is present in the soil and help in recycling of nutrient in nature. Next is, the soil is important for the agriculture land, and agriculture gives us food, clothing and material for the shelter. Hence we can say that soil is absolutely essential for us and is an inseparable part of our life. We cannot separate this soil. The next topic, that is composition of soil. So the soil is composed of many things like rock and mineral particles, humus, that is organic matter, water, air, and there are some several living organisms. This is the picture of composition of soil. Here you can see that the air that is present in the composition of soil is 25%, water is 25%. The most of the part that is covered in soil is mineral particle, that is 45%, and organic matter, that is 5%. In organic matter, humus, roots and some living organisms are present. So the first composition of soil is rock and mineral particles. Rock and mineral particles. Soil has the rock fragments of various size and mineral particles of the various size. The mineral particles are formed by the disintegration and decomposition of rocks. The mineral particles are formed by the breaking down, that is the disintegration and decomposition of rocks, that called as weathering of rocks. The mineral fragment can vary in size. Next is the air. Air is present in the spaces or in the pores between the soil particles. They are the pores present in the soil particles. So the air is present in that spaces or in the pores. Different type of soil, different in porosity, so in the amount of air present between the particle. Next is the living organism. Soil contain various type of organism which could be very small, microscopic to the large visible organism. In soil, it contain various type of organisms, small organism which could be very small, microscopic or to large visible organism. So the microscopic organism include bacteria, algae and fungi, and the large organism like snail, mite, bugs, termites and ants. Next is humus. Humus is a organic matter. Humus along with the minerals form the top of the soil. Humus is decomposed matter that is formed by the slow decay of dead plants and animals. So humus make the soil more fertile. Next is water. The amount of water present and the water retention capacity of soil depends on the different type of soil. The amount of water that is present and the water retention capacity of soil depend on the different type of soil. Moving on, the next topic is what pollutes the soil. There are the several factors that pollutes the soil. First is the dumping and the non-biodegradable substances such as plastic bags, polythene that cause soil pollution. Non-biodegradable substances are those substances which cannot break down into the simpler substances. Next is the waste product from the industries which contain chemical and can affect the soil adversely. There are the several chemicals or the waste product from the industries affect the soil very badly. Next is excess use of fertilizer and the pesticides pollutes the soil and decrease its fertility. In agriculture land, we use the fertilizer and the pesticide that pollute the soil and decrease its porosity and decrease its fertility of the soil. Next is, therefore, before dumping anything waste into the soil, it must be treated properly. Pesticides and the fertilizers should be used in minimum quantity. Lastly, the material like the plastic should be banned as we pollute the soil and affect the living organism as well. So, before dumping anything waste into the soil, it must be treated properly. Okay, the treatment should be done. Pesticides and fertilizers should be used in minimum quantity. So the material like the plastic should be banned as soon as possible because they pollute the soil. So we pollute the soil and affect the living organism as well. So in this picture you can see here there are the several factors that affect the soil or pollute the soil. First is the poor agriculture practices, that the pesticides and the chemicals that we are using. Second is the improper solid waste management. Third one is the unsafe storage of hazardous chemicals and the nuclear waste into the soil. Fourth one is the leachate from the mismanaged landfills. Fifth one is the uncontrolled dumping of waste from the household, from the industrial plant mining that pollutes the soil. Distinct layers which are also called as horizons of the soil. So the soil profile is vertically section of the soil which depicts all the layer of the soil. The layer of the soil can be seen if we dig the deep through it, like while creating a well or while laying the foundation of a building. A vertical section of a well-developed soil shows the presence of the distinct layer called as horizon. Okay. Next, the sequence of the horizon from the surface downward or vertical layer structure of soil called as soil profile. Okay. In soil, humus, the decaying matter in the soil is called as humus. From the topmost layer, soil has the dead rotting leaves and animal remains and the grasses floating on the water, that is humus. Second is weathering. What is weathering? Soil is formed when rocks break down. So this process is called as weathering. The weathering of rocks takes place because of the rains, flowing water, winds, temperature and the climatic condition of that particular place. Next is parent rock. The nature of the soil, that is its texture and the availability of minerals, depend upon the rock from which it is formed. So this rock is often called as parent rock. In parent rock, it depends on the nature of the soil, that is its texture and the availability of minerals. Okay. Next is about the different distinct layer of the soil. So horizon in a soil profile. Generally there are the 4 layers called horizon in a soil. So the first horizon is horizon A. This layer is also known as the topsoil. It is visible to us, or we can say that the uppermost horizon or the first layer of soil called as topsoil. Next, it contains large amounts of humus, that is organic material, and minerals, which makes it darker in color. Okay, it is dark in color and rich in humus and minerals because it contains roots of the plant and partially decomposed organic matter. Next is the topsoil is a home to many living organisms as well, like insects, worms, beetles, rodents and moles. So the many type of organisms like worms, bugs, beetles, moles, rats live in this layer. Okay. Oh, it is generally a soft porous layer that can retain more water than other layer, and it is fertile part of soil also due to the presence of humus. Okay. Next is, this is the picture of soil profile. So the first layer, as you can see here, is a horizon. The second is B horizon. The third layer is C horizon, and at last the last layer is R horizon, or we can say that the bedrock. Next is the B horizon or the middle layer. It is present below the A horizon, so it is called as the subsoil. It is next layer of the soil which does not contain much humus as compared to the horizon A. It is also called as the middle layer and is generally more compact and harder. The minerals are found in large quantities in this layer. There are the several minerals are found in this middle layer. This layer has a hard texture, light in color, and is more compact than the topsoil, than the horizon A. Next is the horizon C or the third layer. It is the third layer present below the B horizon. This is the first point. The third layer of the soil consists of the small rocks with cracks in them, and these rocks are partially weathered, okay, partially braked. So this layer is very hard comparatively these two layers, okay, and it is made up of the small pieces of rock materials with cracks. Okay, moving on the last layer, that is bedrock. So it is present below the C horizon of the layer. Okay, the last layer of the soil is called as bedrock. It contains large pieces of the rocks that are not weathered or exposed to any winds or water. bedrock cannot be dug with the help of any spade. It is very hard in texture. We cannot dug it with the help of any type of a tool because it is very hard in their texture, and it is this rock that makes the soil over a very long period of time. So this is about the bedrock. Moving on the next topic, that is types of soil. So we know that soil is formed from the weathering of the parent rock, and the texture of the soil depend upon the parent rocks. This process takes time, maybe 100 years, and then the fine soil is formed. So soil is formed by the weathering of rocks. Weathering means breaking down or dissolving of rock and mineral into the smaller particles due to the wind, water, or we can say acid, soils, plants, animals, and change in the temperature. Okay. So depending on the proportion of these particles in the soil, soils are of different types. So the first is sandy soil. Sandy soil has a big particles that have the larger spaces between them. Means sandy soil have the larger air spaces or larger pores in between them. The spaces or the pores between these particles are filled with the air. So we can say that sandy soil are called as well aerated soils. Because of large pores, water can easily penetrate through the particles of the sand in the sandy soil. So the sandy soils, however, cannot hold the water. First is mainly this is the loose and coarse and the porous soil. Okay, it contains lots of air. The particle size is big and it allows rapid percolation of the water. So it allows rapid percolation of water. Here water can easily penetrate through the particles of the sand. Next is sandy soil are light aerated and dry in the nature. So sandy soil lack much nutrients, hence they do not support the diverse growth of the plants. Means they are not suitable for most plants as it cannot retain much water. Okay. Next is the loamy soil. Loamy soil contains a similar amount of large and small particles in them. They are combination of sandy, clayey and silt soil. They are the good proportion of the sand, silt and the clay. They also contain humus. Humus make the soil better. Okay. When added to its sandy soil, it increases the water holding capacity, and when it added to the clay soil, it increases the air spaces. So in loamy soil, it's fairly smooth and gritty soil and has a good amount of water, and their particle size is average. They can hold water in appropriate amounts and therefore supports the growth of the plants. They can hold good amount of water. They are also called agricultural soil because of their fertility and appropriate texture. Next is they contain good amounts of calcium and have a high pH level. So loamy soil is best soil for the plants as it contains good amount of water and air. Next is about the clay soil. It consists of the fine particles which have less space between them. Since there is not much space, there is not much pores between the particles of soil, So the clay soils are not well aerated like a sandy soil. Okay, this soil is compact and heavy soil. Not much air is present. Their particle size is very small, and the tiny gaps between the particles although allow absorption of water in the clay soil easily. There are the several tiny gaps between these particles of the soil, so they can easily allow the absorption of water in the clay soil. Next is they are able to hold water, hence they are suitable for the growth of different kinds of plants. So this clay soil is not so much suitable for most of the plants. Next is about the silt soil. The silt soil particles are smaller than that of the sandy soil but larger than the clay soils. Okay, particles are the smaller than the sandy soil and not visible to the eyes, so the particles of the silt soil have the less space in between them. Silt soil can hold the water to some extent because of this fine quality. They are generally found near the water bodies like river banks and lakes. They are rich in nutrients, highly fertile, and hence are suitable for agriculture purpose. They are often mixed with the other soils to improve the fertility of the soil. So first is the particle size are smaller than the sandy soil. The particles have the less space in between them. This silt contains much less air than the sandy soil and it can retain water better water retention capacity. Okay, and silt is present as deposit in the river beds and in the lakes. Next is about the picture of the different type of soil. So the first soil is the sandy soil. Next is the silt soil. This one is clay soil and this one is loamy soil. Moving on the another topic, that is properties of the soil. So the first property of the soil is the percolation of water through the soil. The percolation can be defined as the property of the soil by which it allows the flow of water through it. The rate at which water percolates or moves through the soil may vary in different kind of soil. So some soil absorb water while other allows it to flow through them. So simply, the percolation of water in soil means the movement of water through the gaps in the soil. Okay, and the rate of percolation can be calculated by this formula. The percolation rate is equal to amount of water that is present in milliliter divided by the percolation time in minutes. This is the formula to finding out the rate of percolation rate. Next property of the soil is moisture. Moisture is the amount of water that is present in the soil. Even a dry soil has some amount of moisture in the air. So the clay soil has the highest content of moisture. So for example, if we touch the soil of garden or a field, we can feel that the soil is wet. It is because the soil contains the moisture. So the moisture or the fine droplet of water remain trapped in the spaces present between the soil particles. Okay. Next property is absorption. The soil absorbed water. Every soil has the water absorption capacity, which depends upon how the porous the soil is. Clay and the loamy soil are the most porous, hence they can retain the water in large quantities. That is why crops can grow over these soil. Okay. So the sandy soil on the other hand do not absorb water, so it do not support much vegetation. Okay, for example, if we pour half of a glass of water into the soil, it gets absorbed because soil has the pores in between the particles. So the capacity to absorb the water different in the various soil. Okay. Moving on the next property, that is the pH of the soil. Soil can have the different pH depending upon their acidic, basic or neutral nature. So based upon the pH, different type of crops grown in the soil. Next is air content, or soil contains air. Since soil is made up of the particle of the different sizes, these particles can be loosely bound or it can be tightly bound. So the air often occupies the space in between these particles. So this allows life to sustain in the soil, such as microorganisms. Soil contain air in the spaces present in between the soil particles. Larger spaces in the soil trap more air. So here the sandy soil contains more air, while the clay soil contains very less air. Okay. Next is soil and crops. They are the different type of soil in different parts of India. Okay. So various climate factors like the wind, rainfall and humidity, light, temperature, they affect the soil profile and bring change in the soil structure. So the different on the type of soil present, different type of crops are grown. So different kind of soils are found in different regions because of the following factor that decides the soil structure of that particular place. So the first factor is temperature, second is humidity of that place, third one is rainfall, fourth one is sunlight, fifth one is winds, and the type of crops that will grow in the soil depend upon these factors, okay, as well as the property of the soil. Next is the type of soil and the crop grown in the different type of soil. So the first is the sandy soil. Here the potato, lettuce, corn, peppers, these are the crops grown in the sandy soil. Next is the clayey soil, the sprouts, broccoli, kale, beans and the cabbage. In loamy soil, the crops grown in the loamy soils are apple, carrots, tomatoes and cucumber. Next is the topic is soil erosion. When the top layer of the soil gets removed, it is called as soil erosion. Here, the soil erosion mainly occurs when the soil is left loose without vegetation or when the deforestation occurs. Here the deforestation is cutting of the forest areas and converted into the non-forest use. In such a situation, strong winds and the flowing water or the rainwater takes away the topsoil and therefore it decreases its quality. Also, this kills the organism living inside the soil. And the roots of the plants and the tree keep the soil together and allow several microorganisms to grow and survive there. So therefore, it is always advised to plant more trees and avoid the deforestation. First is soil erosion, means the removal of the topsoil. It may occur due to the natural cause or by the human activities. Okay, the soil erosion takes place in the region where the plant cover like the forest, and this forest have been removed is deforestation. The soil erosion also reduces the fertility of the soil because as the nutrients rich top layer get washed away, so the soil erosion can be prevented by stopping the cutting down of the trees and retaining the forest areas and by planting the more trees. Overgrazing by animals should be discouraged. As you all know about that, the soil erosion is means the removal of the topsoil. So soil erosion are the two types, caused by the natural cause and the human activity. The natural cause are the flood, heavy rains, winds, dust, storms. So these are the natural causes, and the human activity causes the cutting of the tree, that is deforestation, overgrazing, poor farming method or the burning of forests. That is the cause of the human activity.